So this is my guitar story with Ross. I got this guitar right here. I'll give you a close-up. For those of you who know things about guitars, I call this my Frankenstein guitar. Basically, Mark and I and Ross went down to Subway Guitars in Berkeley to buy my first electric guitar. And so what the guy does there is he talks to you for a little bit and asks you a bunch of questions, and then he says, well, come back later and I'll have a guitar ready for you. So, okay. So I told him, a little bit about myself, and came back a few weeks later and found this being handed to me. And I have to say that looking at the 50s colors, I was extremely disappointed when I saw it. And so I handed it over to Mark and Ross, and they totally love this guitar. And Mark, I couldn't get it out of Ross's hands for like weeks. He ended up keeping it while he was over at Beer Mar and playing it, and then telling me how great the guitar was. And of course, I didn't know anything about guitars then, and I really don't know much more now, I have to say, 6 years later. But he said that it was having some kind of problems. I don't know. I don't remember what the deal was. So we went back to Subway, and he hands the guitar off to the guy, and the guy looks at him and is like, well, dude, what'd you tune it like this for? And Ross said, oh, whatever. And the guy said, dude, don't do that. And Ross said, and he goes, here, I'll fix it. And so the guy, did whatever he did. I guess retuned it. I don't know if it was putting stress on the neck or, on these components here that are all kind of rusted now because there was a lot of humidity in my garage and in the house, so I have to get it all cleaned out and done up again. It makes all kinds of weird noises. But so you'd have to ask Mark about the conversation. He wasn't there, but I don't know if they talked about it and if he remembers. So all I really remember about it was that Ross was doing some kind of tuning situation that did something uncool to the guitar, and the guy at the guitar store was admonishing him for doing that. So that's my little guitar story. And even the guys out here, when I took it to get some new strings and to see if I needed to get it cleaned, and the neck is a little weird. The action is really, really low down here, so I have to get a professional to do some work on it. They were totally digging the guitar too. They wanted to know more about it so they could figure out a value. The French are big about money all the time. And so here's my other guitar. This is a Martin VR9. First time I ever spent more than $20 for a guitar. This one cost me $1,000. And I didn't do a lot of shopping around, and didn't know how to play guitar. I didn't even know how to make a chord back then. I know a lot of chords now compared to then. And I just went into one shop because I was just back from whichever country I was from. And I didn't want to do a bunch of shopping because I was sort of over that after living in the bush in Africa for a long time. So I had the girl play a couple of guitars, and this one sounded good to me. Although I have to say, in retrospect, it isn't exactly the sound that I would look for today, because I've heard other Martins that had the sound that my ears really like. But anyway, so Ross also played on this Martin, and I remember one day, which I completely forgot about. I only remembered this, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, because I ran into one of my neighbors, and it turns out he plays guitar. He heard from the gossip mill in the apartment building that I played guitar. And so I told him, well, hey, if you've never played on a Martin, you've never seen my Frankenstein guitar made by this crazy guy in Berkeley, then I'll bring him over. So I did. And of course my strings were a little rusty, and my guitar was dusty, and everything coming out of the humid area and disuse, even in their cases. And he started replacing my strings, and then said, "Well, dude, you have an electric guitar string on your Martin." And I started laughing because I totally flashed back to hanging out in the basement at Beermar with Ross and him breaking one of my strings. We didn't have any acoustic strings, so he grabbed electric guitar string. So I had, I guess, a bunch of nylon strings and this one metal electric guitar string on there. And he said, "Well, you know, your guitar's going to sound a little funny, but it's no big deal, and you can always replace it later." And that was 6-7 years ago. So of course, moving out here and having everything in storage, and me not having access to anything for a long time, and living in too much misery to open up my guitar and teach myself how to play it again, I completely forgot about that. But until the guy said, "Dude, what's this electric guitar string doing on your guitar?" I went, "Oh, Ross, yeah, I remember that day." So now I have, I don't know, these are like, I don't know, crappy guitar strings, and my guitar sounds completely different. I got used to the weird sound of having an electric guitar string on it, and also with these, I don't know what kind of strings they are. They're like plastic or something, I don't know. They're not really, but they just, I don't know. They're just weird. And of course, I've been playing a Rosenstein Martin off and on. And so the sound is a little closer to what I guess it's supposed to be. So there's my Ross guitar story, and I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. And I'm going to get back to doing whatever I'm supposed to be doing, which I'm not, because I'm getting all this stuff ready. Because I told Nikki I would, and so I'm doing that. Whatever pops up into my head, whatever story I can remember, I'll throw them all up there, and that way you can check it out and listen to it if you care to. Alright, later.